and welcome back to So Biased. On today's video, we are going to be making a gathered blouse from 1940. This is a pattern from Wearing History and it's called the Dahlia gathered blouse. It's a really beautiful pattern that has either a crossover or it has a gathered front with button detail down the center front. This is a pattern from 1940 and was a style that was very popular in the late 30s, early 40s. In the mid to late 40s, it became a lot more inaccessible because it has lots of extra fabric crossing over, which isn't something that would have been available to a lot of people. This shirt is part of my 1940s capsule wardrobe project. I'm trying to make a lot of different outfits that can be mix and matched. So a lot of my patterns and fabrics are either going to be in neutral solids or fairly neutral patterns. So a lot of black and white, and then solid color fabrics for shirts and pants, so that everything I have can be mix and match with each other. This blouse I've been wearing with my late 30s, early 40s pants, the really wide leg ones, and they're so choice. They're so pretty. I've been getting infinite compliments on them because the blouse itself actually sits quite high. It kind of sits on your natural waist and no lower. So if you're going to wear these with regular pants, they're going to sit way too high unless you want a bare midriff, which, you know, hey, if you want a bare midriff, you go rock your bare midriff world. If you do not want a bare midriff, you're going to need some high-waisted pants. So get yourself some high-waisted pants. If you want some, I have a great video that I made called The Comfiest Pants in History of Amazing 1939 Wide Leg Pants, which I highly recommend. So comfy, so cute. They're like jammy pants, but like nice. You can wear them out. So I got this pattern from Wearing History, which is an amazing curator, maker of vintage patterns. Also a costumer. I highly recommend their patterns. They are very, very lovely people, and they do digital patterns as well as paper patterns. So go to their website or Etsy store, which I will link below, and support indie pattern makers because they are the best and they keep us all making stuff who, well, you know, can't make our own patterns. The people who can make patterns are just vampires. They've been alive for 300 years. Don't tell them, they're really sensitive about it. So I'm going to be making this blouse from some really lightweight fabric, so it can be something that's really breathable and I can wear out a lot and don't have to wash all the time or iron. I'm allergic to ironing. It's a real problem. But until then, let's get sewing. So I am making a mock-up of this, but I want it to be kind of a wearable mock-up because it's a really pretty pattern. So, you know, if it turns out nice, I can actually wear it. So I'm using the remnants of this this dark blue satin I used for the Canucks dress. And it's really pretty, and I have almost enough to make it, but not quite enough. So I'm using this remnant of black satin to make the belt and the facing. So I'm going to cut out all of the pieces out of the blue except for the belt, the belt and the collar facing I'm going to make out of the black. I got another vintage pattern. Why did I do that? Why did I get another vintage pattern? The instructions have not been updated, so I'm kind of going off on my own. The shoulders here have some gathering seams, so I've done those up and then I have sewed the shoulders together. So this is the back and the front, so I gathered the front so it matches the back on both sides. And this is a wrap shirt, so what happens is you have one side seam that goes up about 3/4 of the way, and then you have the bottom part of the other side, so you can see it kind of swoops across. And there are some gathering stitches here as well, which I've pulled so that they even up. I put some here, but that was wrong. Don't do that. And so gather these up so that they meet to the bottom of here, and then, well, I guess it's not the middle, but you know what I mean. And so I'm going to sew the side seams. This may be completely wrong, who knows, but the instructions don't make sense. So, you know, let's fly by the seat of our pants and see what happens. So next up are the sleeves, and the first thing is obviously sew down the side of the sleeves, and this one calls for the top of the sleeves to be gathered, but I kind of don't like that look, so I've stolen another kind of standard 40s thing where you do darts at the top of the sleeve, and I kind of had to guess as to how much I would do, and it ended up being not enough, so I tried it on here and I had to do some deeper darts, which is fine. So I pinned it on and then did some deeper darts when I found that it wasn't enough, and then it worked. And so we have these pretty short sleeves with the darts, so you don't get the big poof, and it just gets this nice kind of square, because, you know, my shoulders are big enough, I don't need help. But you get this nice kind of square shoulder. See, that's just the darts. You get kind of a neat look. And you can see a little bit of the gathering of the front. There's going to be way more gathering at the bottom along the belt, but it's already looking pretty cute. So I am going to deepen up these darts, and then I am going to set the other sleeve, and then I think it's the belt. Next up, we're moving along to the real thing. Isn't this fabric pretty? It's like this rayon satin that is just super, super soft and very lightweight, and I love it. One thing I realized I forgot in the first time round is there are these darts in the back, and they're these kind of like, they're these diamond shaped darts, and I totally forgot to do these the first time, so I'm doing them this time, and they add a really nice shape to the back. You can probably see here. So this is the back piece, which is on a fold. And so yeah, with the darts sewn in, it looks really pretty and gives it a nice kind of tapered shape at the waist, which is what we like. The other thing I screwed up is the front piece is on the bias. So you can see the grain lines here. I cut it straight out, so this way, but it's actually on the bias. So this time I did it correctly, or rather I cut out all the pieces actually on the bias the way they're supposed to go, and I put in all of the gathering stitches. So there's gathering stitches on the bottom of the front piece, on the smaller side, and at the shoulder. So gathering stitches in both places, or in all three places, and then double gathering stitches so that the gathers become a little more even. I think we have to do something with this and turn it under and sew it down. So I will figure that out next, if I can actually figure out the pattern instructions, because vintage patterns. Yay. The next step seems to be, they want you to fold this under. This is the bodice front. You can see. So this is the armhole, and then this is the part that crosses over the front. And they want you to turn it under and blind hem it, which I heckin' don't want to do. So what I did is I turned it under once and hemmed it, and then I turned it over again. So rather than hemming it and having the line, I'm just going to press it down at this width, and then it gets sewn into the shoulder, and it gets sewn into the opposite side here. So that should hold it down without too many problems, and it gets all ruched all the way down here. So that should look okay. So I'm going to do that on both sides and just pin it down and then steam it very lightly, because this is a very lightweight fabric. And then I'm going to do shoulders. So this gets gathered up and then attached to the back. It didn't take long for me to go off the rails on this. I noticed either there isn't or I could not find instructions on how to finish the collar. So I cut out a little facing piece, just this little kind of half moon circly piece, and sewed it into the back of the collar in the back piece, and then sewed it into the shoulder seams so that when it's being worn, that holds it up, and once I press it down, it will also pull it back. The shoulder seams will pull that back, and you'll just get this nice clean sewn edge here. So that was improvisation. But we do have both of the gathers done on the shoulders, which look really cute. So we have the gathers done on the shoulders, which are really pretty and flow so nicely here. And so the next step is we sew the sides together. So this is where I went wrong the last time, is I thought the shirt went all the way to the bottom, but it doesn't. The belt comes on the bottom and fills up most of this space here. So you sew this bit down, so the part that goes across gets gathered and gets sewn in with it so that they line up together at the bottom, and this gets pleated in, and they both get sewn together and meet up there at the bottom, which is heckin' cute actually. And look at how nicely it drapes. I think being cut on the bias makes a big difference. but it's already turning out really cute. I really like this. So I am going to pull the gathers on these guys and then line up the seams. We'll turn it inside out, line up the seams, and sew side seam to side seam on both sides. Another thing I missed last time was this. So this is the sleeve. I'm doing a full length sleeve this time because I have enough fabric, but there's this. So pleat outside lines towards center. So obviously you bring these lines in here. And what that does is it actually creates like a bend in the elbow. So if you pleat it here, it'll force it to kind of come in and then go out. So it forces it to bend. This happens a bit in like 18th century clothing, and you see it a bit in the 40s as well, but it's a neat little thing that helps add that shape to a sleeve. So I will draw this in, I will pin it, and then I will sew in this kind of dart thing. All right, in the mock-up, if you remember, I ended up doing these darts in the shoulders, and I really like the way they look versus the gathering, because the gathering ends up with this poof, and I don't want poof. And this fabric is so lightweight, it would be super poofy. So I copied the width of the darts and trace them on here. So I'm going to sew these in here, and I did the cheater thing where I just lay the other piece on top and rubbed it on to transfer my marks so the marks are exact. So I'll pin up these 3 darts in the shoulder and I will sew them on, and the darts in the middle have already been sewn as well. So after that, I think we set the sleeves. Okay, I don't even know how many things I've missed this time, but since I did the short sleeves last time, I didn't realize that there's actually gathering dots on the sleeves, on the side of the sleeves, but only on one side, because otherwise they super don't match. And I was like folding them over thinking, oh my god, why don't they match? Because meet it up here and then we get this business happening, and I'm like, what is going on? They're not the same length. So there's actually gathering threads to keep them together so that they actually match up. So I sewed in gathering threads here, and I will gather it up, and then I will match the sleeves, the underarm seams together, and I will sew those together next. And the belt has this same kind of notch in it, so this gets attached to the middle. I decided to do the belt in double layers because this is a fairly thin fabric and I wanted a little more weight, and that way I also get a clean edge to sew to, so I don't need to worry about that fraying, and hopefully it will hold up a little better because this is really long and it ties around your back. So having a little extra strength to it for a lightweight fabric seemed like a really good idea. So I am going to pin this. Well, I'm going to gather all this stuff up. Oh, hi. Hi. What's up? Am I not paying you enough attention? Gonna go have a nap? Wanna go lie down? Tail wiggles. Okay, you go have a little nap. You hang out with mom. Oh, big stretches. Floof. Cool. So I'm going to gather up all of this so that we have everything the right size, and then I'm going to match this to the 2 notches, line it all up, and then I am going to sew the belt on. But the belt only gets sewn to this edge, and then it kind of free floats in the back, and then this edge on the back gets just hemmed. I'm probably going to do a rolled hem so that I don't have to worry about freeing, because we're starting to fray already. So PSA, shoulders exist. Who knew? I made the waist so small that I can't get it over my shoulders. Don't do that. So I'm going to be pulling out this entire seam line here and undoing some of this gathering, because I'm like, oh, it'll be my waist, a little bigger than my waist size, so it'll be fine. No, it needs to get over my shoulders. So yeah, so this is going to come out. I will undo some of the gathering and do it back up. Also, I did the rolled hems on the back of the shirt and sewed them up, and they look really nice. I clipped them a bit. I just put a little zigzag stitch there so that it wouldn't fray, so that there aren't any raw edges there just by the clip, but it's not really visible from the outside, so yay. So I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to pull out some gathering, I'm going to resew it and see if I can actually get it over my stupid head. So that's it for the Dahlia wrap blouse. It is so cute. I love the thing. The only thing I will mention is for myself, I have to play a little bit of boob origami to get it to sit right for me. I think it's meant to just sit across over the chest, and for me, I like to have it tuck underneath each boob, which is a personal preference thing, but because the fabric doesn't have a lot of stretch and the pattern is not exactly designed that way, I have to do folding of this. Y'all with big boobs, you know my feels. It's a real problem. Even though it is very obviously early 40s and I wear it with my 40s pants, no one seems to think that it's vintage, and they just think it's this really stylish blouse that you can't get now because it actually curves and hugs to your shape, which modern clothing doesn't do because they like baggy sacks of shapeless, cheap fabric. So if you like this video, please feel free to like and subscribe. Please leave me a comment what you thought. You know, if you enjoyed the video, if you want to make it yourself, if you have any questions, or if you have another project you're working on, I'd love to hear from you. The comments have been really lovely and everybody has been just amazing. So for some of my next videos, I have some more 1940s projects coming up, some more in the series of my 1940s capsule wardrobe, for which I've started a playlist. If you want to see, I will have the link below, and I'm continuously adding to it, so please come on back. And please, if you're subscribed, hit the notification bell so you can get notifications every time I upload. I have some more World War II projects I'm hoping to do coming up, and I'm doing a bunch of research into some really, really interesting stuff that I hope you guys will really love. If you have any suggestions for future videos or anything you would like to see, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are and what you think of the video and what you thought of the blouse. Until then, stay happy and healthy, take care of each other, and we'll see you soon. Bye! This is where I went wrong last time. So it doesn't actually go all the way to the bottom. And I thought it did. This, whoops, don't touch that button. Why don't I look this up before I start? Because I'm a dummy. And, Mina, are you done scratching yourself? Yeah, we're good, okay.